Hi, everyone. So I've decided to start to share more of my teachings online with you all. And I feel like I have this responsibility to do this. And here we go. What I want to present you all with is a true education. Okay, so not one that is material for brainwashing or for controlling, but rather a real education where the word educate itself comes from the Latin educare, meaning to bring forth or to grow. So the purpose of these videos is to help for you all to bring forth that radiant light within, to sprinkle water on those seeds, to have them become buds, to become plants, to become roses. And while I know many of you already have roses that you share within, I know that many of you feel that there is something more. There is something more that's calling you, and that there's something very valuable within that is waiting to be unlocked. And so my hope, my sincere hope, is that these videos will help you unlock those. The goal here is for all of us to live our divine deepest truth. That's my sincere longing, and it's my sincere longing for all of you. All right, so I'm going to go through a number of different topics over the course of however long it takes, right? So we're going to talk about ancient Greek philosophy, okay, and why it's relevant, okay, and the misconceptions, right? So the topics that I'm going to be addressing are ones that in collective consciousness or in mainstream society, people already feel that they know about these topics. But I'm here to present an aspect of those, an underlying foundation of those, some hidden teachings in these fields that are crucial to understanding the essence and to tapping into the essence of what each of these different fields and traditions embody. Okay, so we're going to go into ancient Greek philosophy. We're going to go into Christianity. We're going to go into Islam. We're going to go into modern philosophy. We're going to go into psychology. And we're going to go into New Age spirituality as well. And we'll probably touch on other topics as we go. or go deep into some of these. But this is the trajectory. Oh, and then we're also going to talk about politics, okay, and contemporary US society. And yeah. So let me just say a word about politics before we jump into ancient Greek philosophy. So my goal for talking about politics is for each of us, I don't care what your political background is, right? And you probably have seen some of my political background, but I just want you guys to understand that my goal for politics is for each of us to be able to live in a society where we can thrive and flourish and shine. Okay, so this is my goal. And so, if you've seen some of my previous material that maybe rubbed you the wrong way, just know that my goal is for you and me and everyone to be able to live a life where we can thrive and shine. That's my goal. Okay? So what I'm going to be presenting to you in all of these different topics is geared towards that. So just know that. And if you ever feel like it's not going in that direction, then send me a comment, send me a DM, reach out to me. And then we can see where the disconnect lies. All right. So ancient Greek philosophy. The way that we currently understand the origins of Western civilization is going back to Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Okay. Now, while they are ancient Greek philosophers, there are actually ancient Greeks that came before them who were the founders of Western civilization. Okay. So Socrates was building off of the foundation that was set by the people that we're going to focus on. Okay. And then I'm going to show you how we have diverged from that original teaching. Okay. So the founder of Western civilization, his name is Parmenides. And the way he got his teachings were through a connection, a deep, visceral connection with revelation. And so he had a deep connection to the divine feminine who taught him many topics, including logic and law and science and common sense. All right. And these teachings later became expanded upon by his disciple and protege, Empedocles. And Empedocles really brought forth those teachings in a way that helped later philosophers like Pythagoras, Socrates, and Plato to really be able to build a foundation from that original inspiration. All right. For Pythagoras, we typically just know the Pythagorean theorem about him. Okay, Pythagoras was much more than that. So for those of you who may or may not be familiar, Pythagorean theorem, a squared, so you got like a right triangle, right? So a squared plus b squared equals the hypotenuse c squared. Okay, so that's what we typically know in mainstream society from Pythagoras. But Pythagoras was much more than that. He was a healer, and he was a magician. And his magic was not the type that you see with, like the David Copperfields and the David Blaines. And no, this was a magic that could bring forth from higher planes of reality into this physical plane without deception, without illusion. Right? So that was the magic of Pythagoras. So the foundation that Parmenides brought forth, and these teachings were inspired to me from a man by the name of Peter Kingsley. If you want to go deep into this topic, you can read his book, Reality. And to really get a deep taste of the origins of Western civilization. All right, and it's sourced to the max. I mean, I want to say it's sourced thoroughly for those who need a academic references. So it's got plenty. If you want a purely academic approach to this material before you can really engage with some of the deeper aspects of the origins of Western civilization and Western philosophy, you can check out Peter's book, Ancient Mystery and Magic. Let me just make sure I'm saying the right name. Ancient Philosophy, Mystery, and Magic. Empedocles and the Pythagorean Tradition. So if you want to go deep into that, there's your source. Published by Oxford University Press. So I want to make sure that you guys understand what I'm sharing with you and what I will be sharing with you is highly verified material by the best sources available in academia, in society, in general. All right. And so I encourage you to do your own research. Okay. Because my aim is to create that spark or to kindle that spark, right? You probably wouldn't be here with me if that spark wasn't already alive. So I'm here to kindle that and to help it grow. Okay, so with Parmenides, the foundation of his teachings was that we are all divine lights, right? We are all divine. And that the way that we can tap into that and to really honor that is through connecting with our bodies, right? Connecting with our temples, right? This body of ours is our temple or our mosque or our church, however you want to think of it, right? It's our sacred space. And the way that we can connect more deeply with our bodies is through our senses, through our sensation, through our seeing, our hearing, our smelling, our tasting, our touching. And to connect to these senses in a very conscious way, right? Like to be aware that we are seeing, to be aware that we are hearing, to be aware that we are smelling. All of the senses, whatever we experience, to do it with a conscious awareness. And that when we do this, it points us to something deeper and deeper within. Okay? Within our hearts, within our souls. And so right from the get-go, Western civilization is founded from a very intuitive, heart-based foundation, right? Because these senses, they all connect deeply to our hearts when we can consciously experience them. And so the foundation was set so that we don't focus so much on the head, right? We focus on the heart and the body, the senses. And I know that this is contrary to our understanding of what we're taught about Western civilization, right? Like we're taught that, like, you know, Aristotle was the great source of inspiration for Western civilization. And yes, that is true to an extent. It's true in the sense that what we see in our society and what we're living and experiencing is a result of Aristotle's influence. However, that was not the original intention. Okay, so the original intention was for us to have a heart-centered society, right? Not a head-centered society. Okay, the head, our intellect, our thinking, our cognitive abilities were meant to be a servant of the heart. All right, so the founders of Western civilization Parmenides, Empedocles, Pythagoras, they taught that in order for us to thrive spiritually, physically, emotionally, socially, the way to do that is to live from a bodily centered, a heart centered experience that connects deeply to our senses and has the head as merely an instrument of implementing that guidance. Okay, so this is the foundation of Western civilization. All right, in our next video, I'll continue speaking more about Plato and Aristotle. And I look forward to connecting with you all more. Thank you so much. If you found this video helpful, valuable, please share it with anyone you feel would benefit. And if there's anything that you want to share with me, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you and God bless.